Set this up, build my huge, not huge, it's about as big as however big this is. We've got, 4 Raspberry Pis. They're all 8 gigs, and they're going to be put in a 4 node, and I'm going to make my own chassis for this and set up my fans and just get that shit to work. That's going to be for my build coming up. Little caddies for this. So far, so good. It works as intended. It's got the airflow. It's properly mounted the way it's intended to be, the way I want it to be. Airflow from this end, from this top end here, all the way down. The only part that I'm keeping is the part where I have to come over here and install the SSD, which is what I'll be adding furthermore from this other tutorial that exists here. And it's pretty much useless to me now. I know readily enough that this is pretty much set, but it's not set and forget. I'm going to keep that tab open just in case. It's kind of important. I ran out of SD cards, and I decided to hate myself and waste a lot of time getting one of these Pis to boot up solely in SSD. But the boot up time will be so much faster as a result, and it's just better in that right by itself. Also, the guide for building this external is so weird and vague that it doesn't even mention the fact that you have to plug in your SSD in one of the gray slots, not one of the blue ones. Just for thought. Kind of weird though, but it is what it is. Stinkingly had to run this thing on a USB because I changed my boot drive because I ran out of SD cards. So it works now, and yeah. Basically, what I had to do to get the command to work when they say to do the command line.txt, this guide that we have, it's literally on the device I'm recording with. But yeah, the guide for the Ubuntu setup for the K8s did not include the thing that I needed to run it from USB. There's only a config for the one for the SD cards, so the only thing you have to change for this specifically, if you're not doing it with USB, which includes a completely different guide, is that you'd have to change a couple of the file names and do all the other stuff, but also you'd have that copy and paste part with the rest. You don't have to follow the comment section as far as I'm using it so far. You just have to change the root back to label writable. I like most of these to work. I just need K8s on every single one of these to work. And yeah, installs pretty fast. They're pretty fast. Looks as though I'm getting the cluster set up. Joining seems pretty easy. I managed to get it to work with servers instead of just all desktops. I'm running this as a desktop though, and I'm running it from USB. I changed the USB port out because the speed was pretty bad, but this works pretty good so far. And then I'll get the rest of it set up, and then the tower will be complete. I think each of these might not be that easy considering the fact that this thing is just weird. It's powerful though, but it's weird. It started up kind of weird. Now it's fine. It's just getting them set up is going to be harder than it sounds. Right with this first node right here is that it gave me a little bit of a language bug with the keyboard. I don't know why I did that, but it's ready to go, which is pretty nice. It involves me literally pulling this thing out, getting the keyboard done, and then unhooking HDMI, and then redoing this all over again. I had to reswap the input on this guy and then come all the way back to this dude because my token wasn't correctly inputted. So then I got a picture of it, and then I finally inputted the command correctly here. Yeah, that was a nightmare, but I got it done without breaking anything, which was nice. Yeah, this guy. On to this guy. After I had an issue with the file system, I did a file system check for the middle tier, the one like right there, that middle one, middle Pi. I did a check on that, and I basically went over here and I decided to install the new system, but I had to fix the install for the main thing, which took forever. But I'm getting past that. I'm getting to the end. Set up my own EC2 instance in Amazon thing, and I'm running it because I want to run this as my core, and it works pretty well. I just need to set this up from this end, and then once I set up K8s, micro K8s inside of it, I want to set up a tunnel, and then when I set this up, connect this to the tunnel, I'm able to connect this to my Pis, and once I connect this to my Pis, wherever root server I want to connect to, which is going to be the next Pi around the corner. It's, well, you can't see it. Hold on one sec. No, you can't. This boy. He's giving me the most trouble. This little server guy. He's going to be the worker set, but essentially this guy is actually going to connect with the other guys, and they're all going to connect to this. This is my EC2 instance that's currently running right here. And from here, I was able to connect to it via Ubuntu like I'm supposed to. And I'm going to connect all of my Raspberry Pis to it so that it can run on the cloud rather than natively, which will add more computational power because it's a server. And since that server exists there, I'm going to go ahead and go forward using that server to do even more tasks. I'm going to show you here in a sec. Okay, so I had to fix the fan on one of my Pis, this bottom one, and I had to fix a number of other things with the OS, but it should work now. And it looks like it's working pretty well so far, so it's actually pretty neat. But yeah, I had to MacGyver a few bits. It was amazingly faster than what it used to be, which was incredibly slow. Was, at least. Swapped out the power supply on old. I'm also opting to use my computer as one of them. That. Okay, so turns out you actually need multiple key codes. So one of these magic codes to connect to the Kubernetes cluster isn't enough. You have to do multiple. So now it makes all 4 nodes 100%. 1, 2, 3, and 4 all attached to this guy. The one that I didn't think could work. It's crazy. I'm so glad I did this. It looks amazingly complex and just insane at the same time, just somewhat Frankensteinian, but just really crappy in a way, but also perfect in its own crappiness, and I love that. I'm so glad I saw this through to the end, and I didn't bicker about the OS's crashing down all the time. I'm so glad I fixed my pins so that the LEDs are actually bright and beautiful again, and I'm glad I actually did everything I was supposed to get all this stuff to work like it was supposed to from start to finish, and I can't wait to start building applications with this because this is going to be awesome. Once you start this, though, from what I can tell, you don't have to do this again. And it's amazing, and I love it. So, yeah. Can't wait for more. And just to prove to you that I got it right, that's not going to be that hard to do. That's all 4 S-type Fisco, Ico, Taro.